Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah. I like to talk about books here in my basement, and today we're going to do the first of two self-destructing book TBRs for 2025. This is my fantasy and science fiction stack. This is the stack that I probably will have more trouble getting through because romances read a lot faster, and my other one is going to be the romance books. But we'll see. It's ambitious, but if I do not finish these, if you don't know what a self-destructing TBR is, I have to read all 10 of these before the end of the year next year, or I have to get rid of them. So these are some of these books I've had on my shelf for so long that I actually am not entirely sure where I got them, which is very unusual. When most people go to places and buy souvenirs, I go and buy books. Like, I remember where I get my books. So the fact that I don't remember where I got some of these means I need to read them and do something with them. So let's go through these really quickly. And because I'll add that I don't know where I got them, some of these I don't remember the synopsis on. So we're going to look at them together. We'll start with one of those books, and that is Swarm and Steel, and this is by Michael R. Fletcher. Now, I believe I might have read a Michael R. Fletcher. Let me look and see. Did he write a book with dragons? Maybe he wrote a book with dragons. I don't know. I know the name. Oh, look, he's Canadian. That's cool. And evidently I had this on a TBR because there's a Sherlock Holmes bookmark in there. That's cool. Anyway, Swarm and Steel. I do not know the synopsis on this. Let's look at the back. I love the first blurb says horrifying, moving, extraordinary. So that sounds good. This is about somebody named Zerfall and Jeteko and Swarm. They're in hell. There's assassins. Okay. Oh, that sounds good. If anybody knows about this, let me know. I have absolutely no idea where I got this or when I got this. I do really like the cover. She's missing an arm, and he looks very worried about the situation. Continuing down, we have Foundry Side by Robert Jackson Bennett. Now, Robert Jackson Bennett, I know that I love his books. So the fact that this is on here is kind of sad to me. I have had this book for a very long time. I think since possibly it came out. It's in brand new condition, so I don't think I got this used. This is about a thief, and she's a very good thief. She has a lot of the magic in this world, if I remember correctly, which is basically coding. You can touch something like a wall, learn the basic material or magical concepts that make it a wall, and convince it or trick it into thinking it is something else. So she can touch a wall, feel the makeup of the wall, and tell it, you have a door in you now, and a door will appear. I think. Now, I have also heard that the plot of this is that she steals something she shouldn't have and things go bad from there, so we'll see what happens. But I do love, like I said, I love Robert Jackson Bennett. I am really enjoying his recent stuff. The Tainted Cup was one of my favorite books this year. And there's a quote from Tamora Pierce on here. I didn't see that. I love Tamora Pierce too. Complex characters, magic, that is tech and vice versa, a world bound by warring trade dynamics. Sounds fun. So that is number 2. This one is more science fiction. We have Cage of Souls by Adrian Tchaikovsky. Adrian Tchaikovsky is one of those authors that I am bound and determined to love, so much so that I own quite a few of his books. In fact, let's see, I thought I put 2 of his books on this TBR, but I just see the one. No, it's a different author. So this is a science fiction novel. I think this is about a dying planet and the people that are left there. Stefan Advani, rebel outlaw prisoner survivor. This is his testament, an account of a journey that took him far beyond the city reaches to the blazing desolation of the western deserts, downriver to the verdant hell of the jungle's darkest hour, and into the deep labyrinths and caverns of the underworld. He will meet monsters, madmen, and mutants, and the question is which one of them will inherit this earth. It's got a beautiful cover. I vaguely remember ordering this from Book Depository back when it still existed, several moons ago. I could not tell you when, but it has been on my shelf for quite some time. I absolutely love the cover, and I really want to get to it. This one This one's going to be maybe surprising. Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Now, I have read this, DNF'd this. I have gotten a good chunk into this, and all I remember is I got a good chunk in, and I absolutely hated it. I detested it. I was so angry, and it's primarily because it felt very much like Hunger Games in space, but with copious amounts of violence against women. Like, copious and unnecessary amounts of violence against women. And I was just not there for it at the time. Now, I know that the series has so much love, and everybody says it's fantastic. It gets 100% better, so on and so forth. So I got another copy, and it has been sitting on my shelf just quietly mocking me. Every time I go through my shelves, it's just quietly staring at me, and I need to read it. I need to, as they say, shit or get off the pot. I need to read it and continue, or I need to get rid of it. I don't know that I need to briefly summarize this, but Hunger Games in space. Darrow, is that his name? Yes. Darrow's wife sacrifices herself in the name of some rebellion, and he, driven by the upsetty spaghettiness that comes from this, goes on to enter a competition or a school or something with trials. He is attempting to infiltrate the nobility that are subjugating his people, as they have been used to terraform planets for humans' habitation. Turns out they're already habited, they're just using these people as slaves, and he wants to stop that. I think that is the premise. I honestly glaze over a little every time people talk about it because I disliked what I read of it so much, but I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to give it another try. I'm always down for giving something another try, unless it straight up makes me like mad. I'll give it another try. It's been long enough. It needs to be read, or it needs to be gotten rid of. Another science fiction that I bought ages ago and I still haven't read is Planetfall by Emma Newman. This one was one Colonnati, Rachel over at Colonnati, loved this series. She talked about it so much, and she was such a big fan that I bought a copy of this, and I have After Atlas, the sequel, as well. I just simply haven't read them, and I have had them for what has maybe been at this point 4 or 5 years, maybe 6. When did this come out? I've had this a long time. Let's look and see together, shall we? No, okay. 2015. So yeah, I've probably had this like 5 or 6 years at this point. I do not know. I think this has got to do with a cult. Let's see. Renata Gali believed in Lee Sunmi's vision of a world far beyond Earth calling to humanity, a planet promising to reveal the truth about our place in the cosmos and untainted by overpopulation, pollution, and war. Ren believed in that vision enough to give up everything to follow Sumi into the unknown. 20 years have passed since Ren and the rest of the faithful braved the starry abyss and established a colony at the base of an enigmatic alien structure where Sumi has since resided alone. All that time, Ren has worked hard as the colony's 3D printer engineer, creating tools. Let's see. Ren continues for the good of her fellow colonists to perpetrate the lie that forms the foundation of the colony despite the personal cost. And then a stranger appears, far too young to have been part of the first planetfall, a man who bears a remarkable resemblance to Sumi. The truth Ren has concealed since planetfall can no longer be hidden, and its revelation may tear the colony apart. So yeah, it's like a cult goes off into space, establishes a colony on a planet, and then secrets start to unwind. And I believe, if I enjoy this one, After Atlas, the sequel may follow the stranger that is mentioned in this. The follows the brother or the son of one of the characters in that. So I'm hoping that I'll enjoy it. If not, I can get rid of both of them. So 2 birds, 1 stone. Moving back into... Nope, let's do the last science fiction. I was going to say move back into fantasy, but let's do this last science fiction. I have Lavi Tidar's Central Station. I really like Lavi Tidar. I really enjoyed Neom. I think that was his newest release. And there was another one by him, The Circumference of the World. I also really enjoyed that one. Both of those were from Tachyon Press, and this is from Tachyon as well. This is about a station, and I believe it's vignette style. It follows different characters in different sections, and we learn the story of Central Station. It's like a traveling hub. It says 250,000 people have settled at the base of a space station in Tel Aviv. Cultures collide in real life and virtual reality. Humans, machines, and others are interconnected through a flowing digital consciousness. Life may be cheap, but data is cheaper. follows Boris Chong, who returns from Mars. He finds utter chaos. His ex-lover is raising a child who taps into minds with the touch of a finger. His father has multi-generational mind plague. His spacefaring cousin is infatuated with a cyborg Robotnik. And an erratic data vampire is following him home. So it's not very long. This should be a quick and easy read, but it's one that I just simply haven't gotten to. And I think I actually technically own this on Kindle, so I need to get it read. Okay, back into some fantasy. Tremontaine? Yes. This is created by Ellen Kushner, and it is different stories all set in this world that she created, and I believe she edited it. And this was one of those cereal box. This was one of those cereal box books where a bunch of people submit different books, like short books in the series. You can subscribe and follow, and then they do a print version at the end. And I just grabbed the print version. The world that this is based on, I do believe she has a full-length novel in. So if I like this, I can pick up her full-length novel. I have read Ellen Kushner before and really liked her work, so I'm excited to try this. It has some illustrations in it. But I have had this, I do believe, also since it came out, which says 2017. 2017, almost 10 years it's been sitting on my shelf, so it needs to be read. Give it a shot. I am definitely down for it. This is Riverside, the world of Riverside. 6 brilliant writers to pen the long-awaited prequel to the beloved cult classic Swords Point. That's the name of her full-length novel. This is in a city where sharp swords cut deep and sharp wit cuts even deeper. Two strangers come to town. One is a brash young spy from across the sea, exiled from her home where jaguars stalk the forests. The other is a farm girl who sells turnips in the market and happens to be a math genius, when a raffish scholar takes her under his wing. Brooding over them all is Diane, Duchess Tremontaine, a beautiful, clever woman with a secret that must be kept hidden at all costs. So they all come together to either help or foil one another. See what happens. Salvos, Curious Beginnings by V.A. Lewis. This is a lit RPG about a demon who ends up in Earth or on Earth, and she needs to do something to save a human companion that she has, I don't know if she's fallen in love with or if she's just very loyal. I got this from a Kickstarter, I think. I could not tell you for sure. I know that this is the first paperback edition. It says so. And I do believe this is fairly long in digital, so this is something I like. I will continue to get these and read them. Oh my gosh. I'm going to save the oldest one for last. We have The Tower of Fools by Andrzej Sapkowski. I may be saying that wrong. This is more of a historical fantasy, if I am correct. It is about Renmar of Belawa, sometimes known as Renovan, is a healer, a magician, and according to some, a charlatan. When a thoughtless indistraction forces him to flee his home, he finds himself pursued not only by brothers bent on vengeance, but by the Holy Inquisition. Okay, I like that. I have the second book in this series, so again, this is another one where I need to read it, and if I read it, I can jump into the second book, and if I don't like it, I can get rid of both of them, you know. And this is, in case you also forgot, because I glanced to the top, by the author of The Witcher. I always get this guy, and I just said his name, Tchaikovsky, mixed up. So this is the guy who wrote The Witcher. And finally, the oldest book on my TBR. I think this might be like the oldest, if we don't count mass markets and books that I inherited from my mom. Let me check the print date on this, because I'm pretty sure I got this. Yeah, okay. I believe I got this in like 2012, maybe. This is the Clockwork Vampire Chronicles by Andy Remick. This is a bind-up of 3 books, Kel's Legend, Soul Stealers, and Vampire Warlords. Now, you may be saying, Sarah, why have you had this since 2012? I'll tell you why. Because my husband bought this for me once on a date. We did a book date, and he bought this for me. And I have kept it since then. I still have the Barnes & Noble sticker on it. I refuse to get rid of it without trying it, and I just simply haven't yet. So, this has file under Epic Fantasy, Clockwork Vampires, that sounds good, Mighty Axe, Unutterable Horrors, also sounds good, and Blood Oil. That sounds painful. So we will try this. It is comped on the back to David Gremmel from Legend, and I don't know who Richard Morgan is, but okay. Falinar needs a hero. The land of Falinar has been besieged by foul invaders, the infamous Army of Iron. The resistance is led by Kel, veteran axeman and the subject of many an epic poem, along with his granddaughter Nienna and her friend Katrina and a dandy swordsman Sark. Disgraced after his affair with the queen, Kel must somehow battle his way from the city and warn the court. Okay. That sounds pretty cool, actually. Alright. Though, I will say, the font in this is tiny. The margins are okay, but like, oh man. It's a dense boy. It's a dense boy. We'll see. This may be one I try to read first, because it's 900 pages. It is 3 books, so I don't expect it. I'm gonna try to read that one first. But that is all of my fantasy and science fiction self-destructing TBR for 2025. Now you will have noticed all of these are physical books. These are all books that I own and have owned for a long time. For 2025, the name of the game for me is owned books. I am trying to read as many of these that I own as I can and get rid of what I don't want, that sort of thing. So that is why they're all physical books. We'll see how it goes with my like wrists and hands. I may be switching between the physical and the Kindle, but going to have to read those. And if I haven't read them by December next year, I'm going to have to say goodbye to those. Wish me luck. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you have read any of these or if you know anything about them, please, please, please let me know down below. I really would love to know what you know. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. And bye, y'all.